about Suya? Why has Suya been
So Suya has been.
My poor Suya, I mean, it's been saving Nigerians for a while.
We had a very long discussion about even what's the name. So right now, new version of the website, we're trying to de-emphasize Suya because obviously some people what's the name. But
the emphasis is on bushmeat.
The emphasis is on bushmeat.
Okay.
The reason why that came up is that some people are like, look, we don't know where all the Suya comes from, like all the meat, where the natural source of the meat comes from. So you should be careful about what's the name. So in terms of symptoms, what you're looking for, the most important symptom that you're looking for is sudden and high fever. So if you had, like, somebody was well on Monday, on Tuesday, high fever, all right, that's definitely a red flag.
And what temperature does?
So we all, all say like
high fever?
Go about 38, you now start worrying, right?
Okay, 38 degrees Celsius.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So and start worrying, and then obviously the other factors, and this is where the challenge can be at the early stage. It can feel a bit like malaria, all right? So you have like the headaches, the diarrhea, the vomiting, the weakness, the body pains, sore throat. All that can feel here. So it sounds like malaria or a flu to you, right? But sudden fever, any three of those symptoms, especially if the diarrhea or anything has blood in it, and that's obviously like a red flag. And if anyone has that, if anyone has those symptoms, the first thing and smart thing to do is call 0800 Ebola Help. 0800 Ebola Help.
0800
Ebola Help is a free toll-free number that the federal government has put in place. It's free and it's toll-free. You can call it free of charge from any phone. Call that number, follow the instructions that you're given. This is not the time to start running around and saying, oh, I want to go and see my pastor, I want to see my...
Yeah, I was about to go into that realm, the religious angle. Some have likened what is happening to signs of the end times. There have been insinuations that some pastors have been touted to cure Ebola. Now, we're in a very religious country, people very sensitive about their belief. How has this been a challenge for you in your profession? How do you deal? How do you handle? How do you pass that information across to that person that says, look, I respect your faith, but for you to move from where you are to where you need to be in terms of safety, you need to take these steps. Is it a battle that you cannot win?
Well, I'm a man of faith myself, so I'm Christian, and I believe in God and all of that. But what I would tell you is, and I would speak to anyone who, I speak as a Christian, and then I suspect that even Islam has similar sayings. One thing the Bible says is faith without works is dead. So yes, I believe that God can protect me from disease, but I'm going to take care and protect myself. All right, which is why we don't jump off that mainland bridge and say, well, all is well. I don't know how to swim, but I'll be fine. Okay, yeah. And then of course the second thing, of course, is that I always tell people is that any man of God that can pray for you, please let him pray for you. Let him pray for you on the phone. Okay, Jesus healed the centurion's son from a distance. So you pick up the phone, and the man of God, will heal you from the phone, and everything will be fine.
Well, this is quite an interesting angle. But as funny as it sounds, people are taking it quite seriously, especially those who are not as educated, not as informed.
Right.
Please feel free to join the conversation. That's at YNigerTV. Also, feel free to tweet at us with your comments, your views, and also myself. My Twitter handle is at Oscar in the City. I have in the studio Dr. Seyi Taylor, is a co-founder of Big Cabal Media, an IT startup company that has done well, relatively extremely well for itself, especially concerning their website, which has gotten over 1.5 million hits. That's ebolafacts.com, where you have an infographic of the symptoms, what to look out for, how to protect yourself, and the numbers to call. Now, the issue of numbers, you mentioned that there's a toll-free line provided by the federal government, which is 0800
yes.
Ebola Help.
Yeah.
That's 0800 Ebola Help. Feel free to go online and Google some more facts. But I know a lot of state and federal press releases have been issued where you can access some more information. Okay, now moving on to post-Ebola, I like to go to the future in terms of how long, if everything is put in place, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, how long do you think it would take to curb this menace? I mean, 961 deaths so far as at Friday, over 1,700 people have been infected. Is this something that will mimic the dark, is it the Black Plague of England, where there was just this epidemic that just went around and killed over a third of the world population?
Well, I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
So the the great thing about Ebola in a twisted sort of way is...
The great thing about Ebola, all in one sentence.
Yes, the great thing about Ebola, it's quite funny. But the great thing about Ebola is, if you think about it, it hasn't killed 1,000 people yet. Right, so this is
but it's killed 961.
Yes.
That's Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and of course Nigeria.
And how many countries is that? So that's a lot of countries. The reason why, obviously, is that there are very specific circumstances under which you can catch it. So in many ways, we're very hopeful that it doesn't really become such a problem. The other thing is, obviously, the faster we can get people educated and the faster that governments around the world continue to take the right steps, the faster this ends. There's usually like, so a country basically can say, look, we don't have Ebola if we wait 42 days after the last case. So 42 days after the last case is announced, if you don't have any new cases, then you're Ebola free. So what we're hoping for, obviously, that if there's a chap in Canada now who's been treated for symptoms that they think might be Ebola. I heard, I'm not sure, I can't confirm, but I heard what's name somewhere in India. What everyone is hoping for is some sort of like containment of this issue, like really quickly. Because the dark side of this is that if it doesn't get contained, even if it doesn't kill a lot of people, the fear and I think
the fear itself, it's bad enough.
Absolutely.
As it is.
So the fear and the concern and some of the measures that might be taken, or close this border, close of that, will have a much larger effect on our way of life.
Okay, just finally, still ahead on Rubbing Minds today, we have Moya Bebe, Sound City VJ, who will be joining us. We'll be asking some very tough questions. Yes, she's talented, a lot of controversy surrounding this particular VJ, and she'll be here to clear the air on some of these issues. Still have Dr. Seyi Taylor in the house. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be right back after the break, right here on Rubbing Minds this Sunday afternoon.